the unfortunate eventual prognosis would be hyper runaway inflation. I don't think we have to get there if we have the will. In other words, we rise up and say stop somewhere or another, but that would be the eventual course. The trouble is most of my Austrian colleagues or hard money colleagues, when they come to this conclusion, they get a little hopped up about it. They get so enamored of this analysis. They say in 6 months we're going to have runaway inflation. Well, it doesn't work that fast. You know, it's a slow cumulative process, which then finally reaches a critical mass and then goes off. So it takes a long time, but we'll know it when we get to it. The critical point, by the way, the critical point comes when for example, in 1923, when the runaway inflation was just beginning to take hold in Germany, what happens is prices begin to go up much faster than the money supply. The increase in money supply is the major cause. I can't go into point out why this is true. The increase in money supply is the cause of increasing prices. What happens is after inflation has proceeded for many years, inflationary expectations then take over, and people want to spend money as fast as they can. They know damn well the prices will be 20% more next week, right? And so at that point, people experience what they call a shortage of money, what we now call a liquidity crunch, or whatever you want to call it. I haven't got enough money to pay for the high prices. They then call upon the government, the central bank, to supply them with the money. Okay? In 1923, Rudolf Hovenstein, the head of the Central Reichsbank, made a famous speech in which he said, "Don't worry, folks." He said, of course, in much more pedantic German than I'm saying here. "Don't worry, folks. We realize you're suffering from money shortage. We will print unlimited amounts of money until you can catch up." until money supply catches up with prices. Of course, the result was history. I mean, bingo. 2 trillion marks to buy a stick of bubble gum. Right? So, now you think this is crazy. I mean, when I tell this to my students, they laugh in superior fashion. Of course, we never say that now. In 1973 or 74, I guess it was, when we had our first peacetime double-digit inflation under Nixon, Walter Heller, distinguished former chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, wrote an article in the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia Quarterly Review in which he said as follows: money supply can't be the cause of higher prices because prices are going up faster in the last year or so than money supply. Therefore, as a matter of fact, the Federal Reserve has a responsibility to keep pumping more money until real cash balances catch up to the status quo, which means, just saying in more sophisticated economic jargon, what Havenstein said before. Now, if Heller had been running the economy, we might have the hyperinflation right now. Fortunately, he wasn't. Fortunately, he was a harmless professor at the University of Minnesota. But I mean, it can get that close, you see, when people start thinking in that kind of terms.